So I love obeying authority. I'm a good girl, and I love following the rules. To me, rules are like, it's beautiful because it's like enough people got together and agreed that this is the best possible way to do whatever the thing is. And I think that's really a beautiful human thing. So I love to follow rules because I appreciate and support humanity. As a child, I was a crazy child, and like my favorite hobby was learning. And my favorite game to do was a really fun game I made up called Homework, where I would teach my little brother things, and then he would turn it into me, and then I would grade him on it. And that was a really fun game. So obviously, I was very excited to start elementary school because elementary school is like real legit school. And I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be amazing. I can just like learn all day. So I couldn't wait for elementary school to start. And it was even better than I imagined because my teacher, Ms. Noon, was amazing. And this is a story of how I tried and succeeded, sort of failed at disobeying authority for the first and last time in my life, and it was against the lovely Miss Noon. So Miss Noon was this short and stout little old lady with white hair and glasses on those strings, you know. Hers had like a Jamaican flair. And the biggest butt you've ever seen that was right at eye level when you would walk behind her in the halls, and I was always first, obviously. So I loved Miss Noon. She was amazing. She loved me too. She would give me money to go to the school store. No one else, because I was the teacher's pet. And she would give us all Lemon Jolly Ranchers whenever we had a stomach ache because she said it fixed them. And we would line up to hug her once a week. And nobody even questioned it. We were all just like, yes, this is what I want to be doing. So she was like one of the best teachers I've ever had. I've had a lot of great teachers because I love teachers. So one day in class, I was 6 years old, and I had this thought, which was like, I get these thoughts sometimes, which I'm sure everyone does, where you're just like, what if I did this wild thing that would just change my whole life in an instant? Like, if I see like a homeless man, sometimes I'm like, what if I just like passionately kissed him? Like, that would significantly change my life in a very brief amount of time, and like, that's interesting. So anyway, so I was having one of these thoughts, and my thought in class was like, what would happen if I threw a chair at my teacher? So, and then I was like, you're young enough, like you can get away with this right now. Like, now's the time to try if you're going to. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Let's see. So I got up in front of the class and picked up my chair and threw it at Miss Noon as hard as I could. It was shocking. And so obviously she called my parents, who had to come to the school, and we all had to sit down and have a conversation. So I'm sitting with Miss Noon and my mom and my dad, my three favorite people. And they're asking me, Rose, why did you throw a chair at Miss Noon? And Miss Noon, poor Miss Noon, is so confused. She was like, I thought we had such a good relationship. I don't understand where this came from. Like, this is just out of nowhere. Nobody understands what's going on. And then, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so now I've learned what happens if you throw a chair at your teacher. You have to have a parent-teacher conference. But now, what's gonna happen after this? I haven't been punished yet, so let's see how far I can take this, because now I'm living in a completely different life experience than I've ever had before. Now I'm a bad girl for one day. So I was like, okay, now seems like a great time to try out this other thing that I had heard about kids were doing, which is lying. And I had never done it before, but I knew people did it all the time, and I thought like, cool opportunity, let's see what happens. So they said, Rose, why did you throw this chair at Miss Noon? And I said, I didn't throw a chair. And this sent everyone reeling. They did not know what to do. My dad's furious. He's like storming all around the room, like so upset. my mom's like, Rose, you understand, if you're saying that you didn't throw a chair at your teacher, you're accusing her of lying. Are you accusing Ms. Noon of being a liar? And I knew I had to commit and like see this experiment through to the end. So I was like, you just gotta keep lying. Like once you lie, how long does it take for them to catch you in a lie? So I doubled down and I crossed my arms and I looked Miss Noon in the eye like a monster and said, she's a liar. So this went back and forth for a while, and no one knew what to do. It was so out of character, and I was just like stone cold, not budging, not gonna admit that I did this crazy thing. And in my mind, I was like, okay, cool, so this is interesting. Like once you lie, you just keep lying. Like once you do a bad thing, you have to keep doing bad things over and over again, but still nothing is really happening. And then eventually, they just got exhausted and gave up. I didn't even get punished for anything. They just, I think, were like, well, that was really weird. Let's just move on. So we did. I wasn't punished. We all just went on with our lives as if nothing had happened, and we never spoke of it ever again. But I definitely learned my lesson. As you can see, I was shaken by this incident and have felt guilty truly every day since then. I think about Miss Noon a lot, and I have, because of that instance, never disobeyed knowingly authority ever again, because I learned my lesson. Don't disobey authority. Thanks.